One Friday evening, I convinced my best friend to join me camping. We've been friends since middle school, so he was eager to come along. We hiked to our favorite spot in the woods and set up camp as the sun set, roasting hot dogs over a crackling fire and enjoying the peaceful evening. As night fell, the forest grew quiet, except for occasional rustling and strange echoes. Despite the scary atmosphere, having my gun nearby made me feel secure. Our camp setup was simple: a homemade bunk bed under the trees, a small stove, and a makeshift table. I took the top bunk, and my friend slept below. Around 1 a.m., a haunting sound woke me, a faint mix of bells and eerie chanting echoing through the woods. It sent a shiver down my spine. I nudged my friend, but his phone was dead, leaving us in tense silence. Curiosity got the better of us, so we quietly ventured into the dark woods, guided by our dying campfire's glow. As we approached the source of the sound, our hearts raced. In a moonlit clearing, we found something surreal. A group of people in black robes, chanting together. Symbols and candles flickered around them, casting eerie shadows. Though I couldn't understand their language, their chanting had a strange power. Fear gripped us as we stood frozen, watching the strange scene. After what felt like forever, we silently retreated, careful not to disturb them. Back at our campsite, we packed quickly and quietly, adrenaline rushing through us. We drove away fast, leaving the haunting echoes of the chanting behind us. To this day, I can't explain what we saw. It's a memory that still gives me chills, a reminder of the mysteries in the forest. Having my friend with me was reassuring. Without him, I might have doubted my own memory of that unsettling night. I was around 27 years old when two of my close friends and I planned a trip to Italy. We searched online and found a surprisingly cheap bed and breakfast to stay at. It seemed too good to be true, but we were thrilled to save money on our accommodation. After a day of exploring the beautiful Italian streets and enjoying the local cuisine, we returned to our B&B exhausted and ready for a good night's sleep. As we settled into our rooms, we heard strange noises coming from the room where we had left our suitcases. It sounded like shuffling and soft thuds, which we initially brushed off as possibly being caused by a small animal like a rat. During the night, those noises continued intermittently, occasionally startling us, but never enough to investigate further. We tried to reassure ourselves that it was just the old building settling, or perhaps some harmless critters. In the morning, as we prepared to check out and move to our next destination, I began packing my belongings. I noticed one of my friends in another room, seemingly engrossed in something. I called out to ask her about my bag, but she didn't respond. Assuming she was preoccupied or maybe upset about something, I didn't press further. When I went downstairs to meet up with them, I found her sitting calmly at the breakfast table. Confused, I asked her what she had been doing upstairs moments ago. To my shock, she insisted that she had been downstairs the entire time and hadn't gone upstairs at all. That sent a chill down my spine. The realization sank in that someone or something had been moving around in that room while we slept. Yet there was no logical explanation for it. We decided then and there to leave the bed and breakfast immediately. feeling uneasy and unsettled by the inexplicable events. As we hurriedly packed our things and made our way out, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled over me. It was a deeply unsettling experience, one that left me questioning what we had encountered in that supposedly cheap and innocent B&B in Italy. The memory of that mysterious night still sends shivers down my spine, a reminder of the unknown dangers that can lurk even in the most unexpected places. About 10 years ago, I was living with my parents. My bedroom was in the basement, which was cozy, but could feel a bit isolated at times. One night, around 3 a.m., I was suddenly woken up by the sound of a young child crying. The cries seemed to be coming from just outside my window. My window was covered in thick ivy, making it impossible to see outside. I quickly got out of bed, feeling a rush of concern for the crying child. As I moved closer to my bedroom door, the crying seemed to change direction. It now sounded like it was coming from the other side of the door. I felt a bit confused and worried, but I opened the door to see if I could help. To my surprise, there was no one there. The crying had stopped the moment I opened the door. Feeling spooked, I quickly jumped back into bed, trying to shake off the eerie feeling. As soon as I settled back under the covers, the crying started again, echoing in the silent basement. The next day at dinner, I decided to share my strange experience with my family. As we sat around the table, I told them about the mysterious crying in the night. My older sister, looking a bit uneasy, then shared a story of her own. When she was a child, she used to leave her room at night to sleep with our parents because she would see a little girl walking out of her closet. She would hurry to our parents' room and wait by their door, which was often locked. While waiting, she would see the same little girl walking up the stairs near our parents' door. As my sister finished her story, my youngest sister looked terrified. She asked, "The little girl, was she wearing a pink nightgown with shoulder-length brown hair?" My older sister's face turned pale, and she nodded. My youngest sister then told us she had also seen the same little girl. She described similar experiences of the girl coming out of the closet at night or walking up the stairs. Hearing their stories, I became convinced that something strange had happened, either in our house before we moved in or on the land where my parents' house was built. The thought that a young girl might have had a tragic past there haunted me. It was unsettling to think that our home, a place we thought was safe, might hold such eerie secrets.